Do people tell you that you are too sensitive? Do you cry or tear up easily? Are you very sensitive to emotional or physical pain for yourself or even for others? Do you experience chronic pain or sadness? Do you particularly love chocolate, doughy or creamy foods, alcohol, or pain-killing drugs, or can't stop addictive behaviors like pornography, gambling, social media, or even preoccupation with food? Do these substances or behaviors give pleasure, comfort, reward, or numbing? If you answered yes to many of these descriptors, you may be a type 3 comfort craver. You may long for more than the natural solace provided by our brain's natural pleasure enhancing endorphins. Stay tuned and learn how you can utilize a particular amino acid found in protein to supplement your brain's natural production of pleasure neurotransmitters known as endorphins. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Teresa Potter, retired biochemist, chemistry teacher, athlete, certified aromatherapist, and founder of Heirloom Apothecary. I am dedicated to uncovering ancient wisdom that is supported by cutting edge science so I can be master of my own well being. Join me today for this third of 5 videos that explores the 5 types of food cravings and the simple amino acids that can curb or eliminate those cravings and boost your mental health. If you would like a deeper dive into the practice of using amino acids to moderate your cravings and mental health, I recommend Julia Ross's book, The Craving Cure. I have a link for her book in the description box below, as well as links to the previous 2 craving videos. In today's video, we will cover 3 points. First, common symptoms of a type 3 comfort craver. Second, the causes of the type 2 comfort craver phenomenon. And third, nutrients that stop type 3 comfort craving. In point 1, common symptoms of a type 3 comfort craver. Are you emotionally and physically sensitive? Have people commented on you being too sensitive? I am not referring to someone gaslighting you by truly poorly treating you, then calling you sensitive when you react. I am referring to being sensitive to emotional or physical discomfort that most people just shake off and move on. Does there tend to be a lot of drama in your life? Do you frequently find solace in carbohydrate or fat-rich, creamy foods, including chocolate, doughy treats made from refined sugar, creamy treats made with butter, cream, and cheese, or numbing through alcohol, marijuana, or other drugs? Do you overly seek out rewards, compliments, attention, or focus on shortcomings of others to take your mind off your own shortcomings? If you can identify, let's explore the cause of the type 3 comfort craver next in point 2, and then you'll delight in point 3 as we explore a simple solution. Point 2, causes of the type 3 comfort craver phenomenon. Did you know that your brain naturally produces endogenous opiates, meaning powerful pain-killing substances made by the body, not by a lab? It is a naturally protective mechanism to mitigate pain. Have you ever heard of the runner's high? This is not a euphemism, but a real phenomenon that occurs after intense or prolonged aerobic exercise that produces a deeply euphoric state. Typically, runners, swimmers, and cyclists are very familiar with this state. I have and continue to experience this state when involved in these activities, as long as I participate for an extended period of time, for about an hour or more. This state can also be achieved by other physical activities. Please comment below if you have experienced this state and through which activity. Presumably, these endogenous natural opiates are produced in the brain as a result to pain. Interestingly, Dr. David Linden, PhD, a professor of neuroscience at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, has suggested that exercise increases the level of endocannabinoids in the bloodstream. Endocannabinoids, which are biochemical substances similar to cannabis but naturally produced by the body and can easily move through the blood-brain barrier, where these naturally produced mood-improving molecules promote short-term physiological and psychological effects such as reduced anxiety and feelings of calm. Have you ever experienced these feelings after physical activity? It may be your body's own production of cannabinoids. Yes, exercise has a dramatic antidepressant effect as it blunts the brain's response to physical and emotional stress. Exercise may also produce new brain cells in certain locations through a process called neurogenesis, which may lead to an overall improvement in brain performance and prevent cognitive decline, improved working memory and focus, better task switching, and elevated mood. Dr. Linden states that voluntary exercise is the single best thing one can do to slow the cognitive decline that accompanies normal aging. We can also get a release of endogenous endorphins or natural opiates from ingesting certain foods. One of the most potent endorphin subtypes is called enkephalin. In fact, because M&Ms are the number one consumed candy in the US, a heavily funded scientific study found that M&Ms caused enkephalin activity to increase 150%. Recall that enkephalin is a type of natural endorphin produced by our brains. But you may ask, if our brains make natural endorphins, including enkephalin, why do we need chocolate for a pleasure surge? Well, we don't unless the natural endorphin output is inadequate. Then we tend to need an external supply in order to make life seem worth living. Most of my life, I have been a chocoholic. Anyone close to me can attest to this fact. However, I have found that since I have routinely maintained my blood sugar by eating according to the enlightened order of eating veggies first, followed by protein and fats, and lastly carbs, my chocolate addiction has abated. I enjoy chocolate as an occasional treat, but I no longer crave it. Really. If your consumption of M&Ms or other chocolate treats is out of control, this study should help you understand why and forgive yourself for succumbing to the overwhelming craving. Opioid-producing foods like opiate drugs work by magnifying the effect of our natural endorphins produced by the brain. Type 3 cravers get a quadruple whammy when combining the chocolate with sugar, fat, milk, and flour in chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, a literal opioid avalanche in addition to jumping on the glucose spike roller coaster, only to produce an additional craving simply from the glucose spike's rapid drop as described in my previous videos in the second wellness pillar, blood sugar. Playlist links are attached in the description box below. If you are a type 3 comfort craver, you long for more natural solace from natural endorphins to help us survive the sharp edges of life, a cocoon when the going gets tough. Endorphins should naturally be released to help us have a good time and when we feel sad, hurt, or stressed. They should also be massively released when we are seriously injured if we have a relatively high protein diet and get regular strenuous exercise. We need as many as 19 different amino acids from protein to make one molecule of an endorphin. If our eating patterns do not include enough protein to supply these amino acids, we reach for comfort foods that can temporarily force a surge of endorphins when we feel upset, lonely, or when there's nothing to look forward to. Chronic physical or emotional pain and/or genetic tendency to produce too little endorphins can also lead to reaching for comfort in food, alcohol, and drugs. However, We do not need to be victims of the type 3 comfort craving syndrome, even if we have a genetic predisposition. It has been said that genetics is the gun and environment is the trigger. In other words, even if addiction runs in your family, you can mitigate this craving with your diet, starting with the order in which you eat food. For example, eating veggies first, followed by protein and fats before carbs, sets you up to enjoy more protein, thereby getting more amino acids that can be used to make your natural endorphins before filling up on carbs that can also produce a significant glucose spike and additional cravings, as described in the previous type 2 crash craver video. Armed with this biochemical understanding, let's go on to point 3, using amino acids to naturally raise our endorphin levels. Point 3, amino acids that stop type 3 comfort craving. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the enlightened order of eating veggies first, followed by proteins and fat, then lastly carbs, will make the most dramatic change in your cravings. No matter what your diet, whether you follow omnivore, carnivore, ketogenic, plant-based, vegan, or anything in between, even a diet of processed food, your cravings and blood sugars will be significantly improved following the enlightened order of eating. After following the enlightened order of eating for 2 to 4 weeks, if you still need more, the following supplements are scientifically proven to bring the glucose roller coaster to a stop. Dr. Seymour Ehrenpreis, a pharmacology professor at the Chicago Medical School and author of The Clinician's Handbook of Prescription Drugs, a reference used by all doctors, found that a particular form of amino acid, phenylalanine, dramatically reduces the need for morphine among most post-surgery patients. His curiosity was piqued, and he went to work to understand why. Let's explore the highlights of Dr. Ehrenpreis's discovery. A little simple biochemistry is important here. All amino acids and many molecules in the body exist in 2 different forms, D and L. Just like your hands have 2 forms, a right and a left, which are mirror images of each other, D and L forms of the same molecule are also mirror images of each other with the same type and number of atoms. Consequently, some biochemical reactions in the body proceed differently depending on which form, D or L, are in abundance. Specifically, the D-phenylalanine, also known as DPA, slows down the body's automatic destruction of endorphins, yielding a longer effect of the natural pain-killing effect. In fact, most type 3 cravers have sighed with pleasure just a few minutes after taking a single capsule of DPA. This works best for those who need pain relief but don't want more energy in the evening when they lay down to sleep, or who are anxious. It is important to note that D-phenylalanine comes in 2 forms, DPA as D-phenylalanine alone and as DLPA, which contains both D and L forms of the amino acid phenylalanine. L-phenylalanine has a mild pain-killing effect because it makes up 1/5 of enkephalin, the most potent natural endorphin that we discussed earlier in this video. So DLPA contains both D and L forms of phenylalanine. This 2 amino acid blend often works best for type 3 comfort cravers who also have type 5 fatigue cravings that we will discuss in 2 weeks. It modulates physical or emotional pain as well as providing energy. Do note, an individual who has phenylketonuria should not supplement with phenylalanine. You may recall the warning on soda cans sweetened with NutraSweet or aspartame that contain phenylalanine. Do also note that our body needs more amino acids than phenylalanine to manufacture our natural endogenous endorphins. A good diet with a complete protein profile is essential. There is a dangerous fallacy perpetuated on social media that one doesn't need to worry about protein because vegetables have protein. While this is true, we need a complete profile of amino acids in our protein, which can only be supplied by animal sources, tofu, or the combination of legumes and grains as found in ethnic cuisines. Think beans and rice, garbanzo beans and pita bread, etc. We need a complete amino acid profile and in sufficient quantity. We can't simply eliminate animal products from our diet and expect to get the amino acid profile that we need. The top 10 foods highest in phenylalanine include beef, lean chicken, lean pork, burnt tofu, tuna, pinto beans, milk, squash or pumpkin seeds, pasta, and sweet potatoes. Most of these foods are also high in tyrosine, the amino acid deficiency that is implicated in the type 1 depressed craver that we addressed 2 weeks ago. I have a link to a web page with this graphic, and it also contains further links to other foods, including fruits and vegetables high in phenylalanine, in the description box below. If you feel a need to supplement your intake of amino acids, consider an amino acid complex with all essential amino acids, as no amino acid works in isolation. Individual amino acids for specific purposes can be used to address concerns such as the ones discussed earlier in this video. Individuals with excessive cravings for starch or carbs, also known as comfort foods, chocolate, marijuana, alcohol, painkillers, heroin, caffeine, tobacco, etc., may feel a need to supplement with phenylalanine. The following doses are commonly recommended, but you should get approval from your doctor as you may have contraindications. D-phenylalanine, DPA, can be taken for emotional or physical pain, or DL-phenylalanine, or DLPA, can be taken for physical or emotional pain and fatigue in the following doses: 500 to 1500 milligrams in the morning, mid-morning, and mid-afternoon by 3 p.m. Do not take both together. Again, get approval from your doctor as you may have contraindications. Join me next week for a deep dive into type 4, the stressed craver. Until next time, I'm sending you my love through my content. Give me a virtual hug by subscribing for more wellness content and hitting that thumbs up button. And don't forget to show someone you care by sharing this video with them. Wishing you an enlightened day. Bye-bye for now.